Navy Federal has a mission to put members first by making their financial goals the priority. Receive a lifetime of membership benefits to help you and your family accomplish your life missions, like a full suite of financial products designed to fit your needs, 24/7 live support, and access to over 300 branches on or near military bases. Visit NavyFederal.org for more information or call 1-888-842-6328 or download the Navy Federal Credit Union app. Message and data rates may apply.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from Draft.com Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Oh, welcome in. Week 17 fun about to begin.
Oh, yeah. The best week. I changed my opinion. I actually think fantasy football should go to week 17. It's more football. It's more fun.
Wait a minute.
Look, I'm having fun here today. I'm having fun for all the football people out there playing this late into the year.
I'm confused where this is going.
I'm trying to be a morale boost for week 17ers.
Yeah, you didn't know where you were headed.
I don't know how to go there. I don't know how to.
It's okay.
Hey,
I can't tell a lie.
We're here. They're playing for championships.
You're
We're going to help them out.
We've got matchups today and tomorrow, week 17 matchups.
And there's DFS people out there.
That's true.
Tuning in just to get,
Thursday, December
Thank you,
27th, show 677.
77.
Nope.
In our history. December 27th. I have a big, important announcement to make.
Everybody, stop what you're doing.
We have Megalodon giveaway winners.
Oh.
Which means that Jared, if you have a double R, you had a chance at winning.
Wow.
Jared.
I believe it's Garrett.
Okay, Garrett and Garrett?
Yes.
And then Nicole are the three big winners
What's
of the
up,
Megalodon
everybody?
giveaway.
Congratulations.
Which means that signed Saquon Barkley jersey, DeAndre Hopkins jersey, and mini helmet.
Michael Thomas
mini helmet. You've been emailed, so if your name is Garrett by chance, if you're the Garrett that won,
Yeah.
because I know there's a lot of Garretts out there.
Or if you're just Nicole and you're like, I won. No, you've got an email.
Yeah, check your email. And then if you have an email, you did win. But congratulations. Thank you to everybody who supported us by voting. You can still vote at footclanvote.com.
We got to finish strong. Look, we're here. It's week 17. We're finishing strong. You finish strong too, Foot Clan.
Yeah, footclanvote.com.
Once a day.
iHeartRadio Podcast Awards. We were nominated for the Best Sports Podcast, so we appreciate your support over there. And get your Foot Clan title shirt at shopballers.com. There was a little debate at the beginning of yesterday's show as to, I don't know, whether we had a show on Monday. We do. We've got a show on Monday, December 31st, the Footy nominations. Our next show after that will be Thursday, the Footy Awards, and then every Tuesday and Thursday through the prolonged bye week, which really, it just isn't that long because you spend some time during the NFL playoffs, you talk about what happened fantasy-wise, and before you know it, I mean, you are into draft season and free agency and trades and all of these things that take place. And so yesterday, Jason and I tweeted out our kind of first stab at a top 10. We talked about we're going to do a top 10 for 2019 next week. So we'll see where Mike weighs in there. I think, Jason, you put yours out as a half point per reception. I put mine out as a full PPR.
I did. People did not like my ranking of Devontae Adams and James Conner.
No, in their defense, bad rankings. I didn't like them either. Remember what I said to you when you were reading them to me?
Yes, you said ew.
I did say ew.
When I got to James Conner.
Yeah.
Where was he?
He was like
I think
6
he was
or something.
6 or 7.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? Alvin Kamara at 9 was wrong with that.
Well, that's TBD on Mark Ingram.
Well,
if Mark Ingram's not there next year,
Mark Ingram's a free agent.
Right.
And even when he was there this year, Kamara averaged more fantasy points per game.
No, when he was in the game, he averaged 3 points less than James Conner.
I'm talking about on the year. We'll debate all this next week. Anyway, quick question of the day. Yesterday at the end of the show, we were joking around. We said if we were an NFL head coach, what would we do to improve fantasy football for the lives of fantasy football players? which would be one of my top priorities, taking over one of these teams, which, by the way, I've seen some of these coaches. I can do it. I can do it.
I could do it. If Hugh Jackson could do it.
Yeah, that's the one that gives me hope.
If John Gruden can do it.
Wilkes.
I don't think he can do it.
That's my point.
He's not calling enough Spider 2 Y banana.
Oh, my God. Spider 2. You got to get a Spider 2 Y banana shirt,
Mike. That's the Gruden call.
So we asked Twitter, Instagram, Facebook,
by the
way.
Banana.
Twitter at the FF Ballers, Facebook.com/thefantasyfootballers, YouTube.com/thefantasyfootballers. We asked for some answers. Here's what we got from the Foot Clan. If I were an NFL head coach, I would do what for fantasy football? I would rule players out as soon as possible so you can place them on IR and pick up
that would be very common.
The next best option. Yeah. I would be honest about injuries.
Yeah,
sure.
The whole gamesmanship on injuries. Like, you can go ahead and tell. Like, just be honest. People can game plan for you and you can still beat them.
Wait, I thought these were jokes, Jason. You're trying to make a compelling, logical argument. I would disagree with you. I think the gamesmanship actually helps.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
So let's not debate the merits. This is just for fantasy. Be honest about injuries. I would give more touches to Kenyon Drake.
Well,
I like that one.
Here's the thing about that.
Not be a b-hole.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's top of the list.
2-point conversion after every touchdown every single time.
I'm with that. I am actually with that.
I am with that and this next one.
You don't need to take kickers out of fantasy football if you never kick.
Right. Take them out of the NFL.
Make David Johnson a top 5 running back. That would be what they do as a head coach.
Oh, impressive.
Get rid of kickers. Go for it on every 4th down.
I would make my wide receiver the best in football.
Sign and release C.J. Anderson.
Interesting.
How dare you?
You might want to do the sign play and release. My quarterback would be tight end eligible.
Ooh, I love it.
That's genius.
Of course, Drew Brees goes out to tight end a lot, doesn't he? When Taysom Hill comes in,
I think he goes out wide, man. He's more of a fly route.
Put him in my wide
fly
receiver.
route quarterback. I would never kneel the ball. Give me those points. That's what one of our
when it comes time to kneel the ball, fall forward, people.
Forward kneeling.
Yes.
Start Jason Moore as my quarterback.
Yes. For your defense.
Yeah.
Play the defense against the Jason Moore starting quarterback.
So we don't have news today. We're going to get right into the fantasy forecast, break down the question marks in these Week 17 matchups, give you starts of the week. So let's get into it.
Fantasy Forecast.
All right, the 7-8 Dolphins take on the 5-10 Bills. The Bills are 3.5-point home favorites. It's a masterful 38.5-point over/under. And news broke yesterday that Ryan Tannehill, the Dolphins are prepared to move on from him rather than pay him. Seems like a good decision. There was a lot of excitement when Adam Gase arrived in Miami. I don't feel it as much anymore.
No.
I believe that the Patriots are they're going to win a 10th consecutive division title.
Never been done before.
Never been done before in the NFL. It's only been done in baseball. Hasn't been done in basketball. Hasn't been done in hockey. And you've had 10 years. AFC East. Kalen Ballage, Kenyon Drake, Kenny Stills and company taking on the Bills. Bills and Josh Stallion himself, which
Josh Stallion.
Did he put the drop in there or did we already delete that?
What?
Yeah. Brooks is shaking his head yes. He says it's in.
Oh, it's excellent. And Josh Stallion he's a fine play this week. Fine, very, very fine. The past 6 weeks the Dolphins are 28th against fantasy quarterbacks.
Miami won 21-17 last time these guys played. LaShawn McCoy, we talked about him yesterday. Is this his final game in a Bills uniform, or do you believe them that they're going to keep him around?
Yeah, I think he's going to be back. But coming into this season, prior to the off-the-field stuff, he was one of those guys I was very down on because the offensive line, his age, and I mean, can you trust him? Can you play him
Not
this week?
No, certainly not. Not after last week's. And on top of that, a bunch of the season where him actually being healthy, ready to go, and the volume disappearing.
I mean, Miami's been bad against running backs.
Yeah, it's a juicy matchup, but
I mean,
it's tough to play Shady this week.
Well, the over-under's low. Robert Foster, he'd be a glory play, I think, with 84% of offensive snaps in 3 straight games. That's the wide receiver for the Bills, if you didn't know that.
Yeah, and that'll be – I wonder if Xavier Howard is going to be back this
Well,
week. We'll see.
20
I doubt it.
20
DB
targets for
Miami.
Foster. See, the thing is the number ones are going up against Zay Jones on a routine basis. That's the way that
Sure.
they're lining up against the Bills. So, again, I think Robert Foster is interesting. But last week, Foster and McKenzie did not pan out for fantasy owners.
Nor did Josh Allen.
Kind of threw some yeah.
It's better than Brady.
The Dolphins did
Yeah.
or I'm sorry, the Patriots shut down the Bills, even though the Patriots offense wasn't very good. But other thoughts in this game, do you start Kalen Ballage or Kenyon Drake?
I don't want to
Pass.
start. Yeah, I'm not starting. I don't know if there's a single player that I would start, like genuinely on both sides of the ball. There's not one player that I would want to start. This is a low-scoring
You
game.
want to flush this game?
Yes.
You want to flush
It's
it down
under
the toilet?
30 degrees. It's
Do
cold
we have
weather.
a flush?
I don't
Tell
think
me
we have
we have a flush.
I
I'm
think
writing it down right now.
Oh, we've got to get a flush.
I bet we have a flush. I bet if you go back to the history
Here's
of this
the thing.
show,
You can't trust either quarterback. You can't
See,
trust
I think you
either
can
running
play.
back.
I think you can play Josh Allen.
yeah, I do
Sure,
too.
you can throw him in there, but do you want to after last
See,
week?
I searched to see what we
He's
had.
at home now.
Yeah.
Look, what did you say, 677? That's how many shows of the fantasy footballers. And if you think we haven't pulled out a toilet sound effect before,
Well, here's the thing.
you don't know this
us.
show.
Then you don't know. There were 2 things that came up on my search for toilet. One was that sound effect. The other was Levine Toilolo.
Oh, and they're both the same thing.
Oh man! All right, the 5.
Take that, Levi.
Can we move on? Let's
Please.
officially
Next game.
the 5-10 Lions. It keeps going.
That's a long
They take
flush.
on the 6-8-1
No remnants there.
Packers. We only use efficient toilet flushes, though. That's water saving. They take on the Packers. Packers are 8-point favorites, a 45-point over/under. Aaron Rodgers' first half didn't look like his second half, but his second half was masterful. 442 and 2 touchdowns on the ground last week. This week we have him as the consensus QB3 in Week 17. And look, in a way, this is kind of the perfect matchup for Week 17 fantasy owners because you don't have playoff berths on the line for potential benchings, and you don't really have a lot of question marks as to who will actually be out there. I love Kenny Golladay this week in Green Bay.
Agreed.
I love Jamal Williams this week
Yes.
at home. Jamal Williams was a microscopic amount of points behind Chris Carson for the number 1 running back last week. He
did get about 5 quarters, though.
Yeah, he did, but he was putting up big numbers before
Yeah.
that. Just the pass catching ability. Equinemius St. Brown, I think he's banged up. He had his best game as a pro last week. Where are you looking for start-sit decisions in this game?
Look, this is the championship week. You roll out Jamal Adams, Jamal Williams, and Devontae Adams, and of course Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going to trust any other. I'm not going to trust Jimmy Graham at tight end or any of the other wide receivers who could.
What about the glory, Jason? Jake Kumaro.
Nope.
I did add him in a dynasty league yesterday.
I wanted to. I just couldn't find a spot for him. But he played on 63% of the snaps. I mean, he had the big play, and he was playing frequently ahead of Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
3 for 68 and a touchdown.
I mean, this guy is a practice squad hero, a preseason hero, and why not? Why would
Because
we're a little
it's
bit
the
down
championship, and I've got a
No,
better
yeah,
roster.
I know. I get that. Why? I understand the reasons not to play him. I'm talking for Green Bay, though.
Oh, sure.
They're done, and you're
Because it's the championship and I got a better roster.
but you
Yes, if you're Green Bay, see what you got.
find out.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams needs 2 catches to break Sterling Sharp's Packers' single-season record of 112. Will Devontae Adams be overdrafted next year?
I don't
No.
think it's possible.
You don't?
I don't think
Wait,
it's possible to overdraft
The thing
him.
that it's kind of been you throw to the left the Devontae Adams if you're Aaron Rodgers, and then on the right you pull the lever and you see what comes up on the slot machine, whether it's
Jake
Marquez,
Kumaro.
And you
Kumaro.
hope somehow that Devontae Adams crossed the field.
when you look to the right.
When you look to the right.
That's funny.
He's in the spinner. Yeah. And then for the Lions, I agree with you. Kenny Galladay is a great play. Does that make Stafford an okay play?
No, nothing makes him an okay play. He's averaged less than 200 passing yards per game over the last 8 games.
Wow.
I can't play him up in Green Bay. He seems to do enough so that Kenny Galladay gives him a wink on the way off the field. But other than that, there's not enough volume.
Now, the one thing I'll point out, being in Green Bay, this is 26 degrees, 18-mile-an-hour winds. So I still trust Devontae Adams. This is part of why I won't touch any other wide receiver. I mean, this should be the Jamal Williams show. Jamal Williams should be one of our starts of the week.
He is.
Great news.
Excellent. And unfortunately, it looked like 2 weeks ago that maybe Zach Zenner, running back from the Detroit Lions, was shaping up to be, okay, we're going to be desperate in the later weeks. He's going to get the volume. But then LeGarrette Blount got far more carries. Well, not far, but 3 more. Far more inefficient than Zach Zenner.
That's his MO. I was hoping for the Zach Zenner League winner rhyme. It was there. It's really Zach Zenner's fault.
No, it's Matt Patricia's fault. Yeah. I blame him. And
is he staying around? Because nobody talks about Patricia leaving. So
I believe he'll stay around, yeah. You can still rhyme with not winner. Like Zach Zenner is not a winner.
Zenner, chicken dinner. No?
I like it.
No.
Come on, Zach.
Nice PUBG joke.
Yeah.
5-10 Jags take on the 10-5 Texans. Texans are 7-point favorites. Houston can win the AFC South if they win this game, or if they lose, fall all the way to the 6th seed. I don't know how they can lose. I really don't. I don't see any way, shape, or form that they can lose this game. I would take the Texans and the points, 7 at home against Jacksonville. And look, I know, Mike, you brought it up.
I got a snake, man.
I do not have a snake, man. I do not have a snake. You're playing DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Watson. The question marks for the Texans offense. Now, I think a sneaky play, DeAndre Carter.
Maybe.
With Demaryius Thomas, the torn ACL, PPR value for DeAndre Carter. You look at what you had with Kiki QT. Now, maybe QT's back, and that would change things. But what do you do at running back? I mean, Lamar Miller, Deonta Foreman.
I think Lamar Miller gets run. I know he was out last week, which was a surprise, at least to me. But, they need to win this game. It's important for their seeding. And Lamar Miller should be healthy enough to return. I expect them, like you, Andy, to be winning this game. So I'm totally fine starting Lamar Miller, assuming, of course, that he's active. If he's not active, I don't think you want to play with the backups.
DeAndre Carter had 75% of offensive snaps last week.
Not bad.
And that was with some Demaryius Thomas. 6 of 7 targets, 61 yards. I would start him with the same confidence I would have started Kiki QT had he been healthy.
What's your confidence level in Leonard Fournette?
He didn't even practice today.
Is the biggest question. I mean,
he is right now 3 straight games under 50 rushing yards.
In the last 3 games, he has over 40 carries. That's awesome. That's what you want. That's like, okay, great. So you've got good fantasy production, except like Andy just said, he hasn't hit 50 yards in a game. 36, 46, and 43 total rushing yards. It's hard to trust him.
Is it possible he doesn't play? If he's not practicing today?
Why? I mean, it's a meaningless game. He's still supposed to be the future of your franchise. I wouldn't play him, so I think it's possible, but
in Carlos Hyde time. And the word was, I don't know if you guys had seen this report, because T.J. Yeldon was a healthy scratch.
Yeldon, huh?
Wow. T.J. Yeldon was a healthy scratch. And
it's actually
it's a
Yelthy scratch.
Thank you. Yeah. T.J. Yeldon, Yelthy scratch.
Yes.
And the report was they were doing that to help him out because he's going to be a free agent, and these games are meaningless for the Jacksonville Jaguars in terms of they can't make the playoffs. So they were saying, okay, we'll let you sit so you don't get hurt right before you're about to sign or try and sign a contract.
Here's the problem. Jacksonville drafted Leonard Fournette to build around him, to be the centerpiece, to be the roots of the offense. But if he's hurt all the time, you already saw the kind of meaningless trade for Carlos Hyde in the middle of the season, which was not a vote of confidence in Leonard Fournette's health. You brought up the free agency. I just don't know if they're fading on him, and that will carry on into next year. Fournette will be a perceived value next year. Whether he will be an actual value, I think the jury's going to be out. But I think what it'll be is he'll be at a draft point next year where if he stayed healthy next year, he's probably worth the pick. So
you'll see the confidence with what do they do with Carlos Hyde, because yes, he's an aging back. He can still get it done. He would be 4.75 against the cap if they keep him, but he is a $0 dead cap hit over this offseason. So if they want to bail out and not pay a 28-year-old running back $5 million,
yeah, he gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's the contract seems like he would be gone. So if he comes back, that'll be. I think that would say a lot for the team and their
they'll
expectations.
certainly need. I would not be surprised if there was a splash free agent signing at running back for Jacksonville. Somebody's name that you're like, oh wow, I didn't expect Tevin Coleman to go there.
When they got Chris Ivory after drafting Yeldon.
Yeah, something to that. You're right.
It was.
Yeah,
okay.
It was. Before we move on to the next matchup or anything else you want to talk about in that game, I want to thank FantasyChamps.com for sponsoring the show. If you have won, or if you're about to win, or if you have a fantasy team of any kind, or if you've won in the past, or you plan to win in the future.
You want to mock a loser.
If you want to mock a loser,
you
can do that as well. If you want a draft board, they'll be there for next year. So they got that taken care of. Rings, trophies, belts, jerseys, perennial trophies, one-time trophies, anything you need. The next step to swag out your title is FantasyChamps.com. Use the promo code BALLERS. That is FantasyChamps.com. Just if you're not going to need something right now, file that name away. It's easy. FantasyChamps.com.
These are nice. These like
very nice.
They look like what you deserve to have. As
nice presentation. You see nice materials.
Yeah, you see the pictures. It's like it looks like I don't know, just a chintzy little.
There ain't nothing chintzy about this, Jason.
It's nice. Nothing
chintzy about this, like your dynasty title.
My dynasty what?
Title.
Championship.
DeAndre Hopkins will be a that was one of the names that came up a lot in our top 10 list.
Yes.
Was where does he belong? Like he was my number 10 in a PPR league over Tyreek, and people don't know where to put players, but
the Tyreek Hopkins
I would take Tyreek in a standard league. I really would.
Yeah.
I would take Hopkins.
Yeah. Maybe that's what he deserves. The 4-11 Jets, Jets. I love the Jets.
Oh no,
I do.
Oh, Jets fans, I'm sorry.
I love the Jets.
I'm so sorry, Jets fans.
I'm moving on from the Browns. The Browns are already there. I've already brought them to where they need to be. I'm moving on to the Jets. I brought the Jags too. I mean, this is
yeah. Do you not see the correlating theme? Of
the head coach is always fired.
And the teams are always terrible.
And look, Todd Bowles is going to get fired too. But if I
do you love Todd Bowles?
Yes, I do.
You know what? If I put other team he really likes.
No, that's great news for the Jets fans. If he loves Todd Bowles, Todd Bowles is about to be gone.
He loves the Cardinals too.
Uh-oh.
I haven't adopted the Cardinals as my kind of underdog team of the year, and I'm taking the Jets as my underdog team of the year next year. And look, that means good things for you. Although Jacksonville had a bad year this year.
Yeah.
The 4-11 Jets take on the 10-5 Patriots. Patriots 13.5-point favorites. It's a 45-point over/under, and
No.
Andy's almost upset of the week.
Come on now, Mike. You saw what I saw. That's too big of a line.
Almost 2 touchdowns.
Stop it.
Sam Darnold's playing well.
Yes, he
is.
is.
The Patriots' offense is not.
Well, this game's in Foxborough, so I think that's part of it. Here's what I know. Todd Bowles is going to get fired. Here's what else I know. Everybody loves Todd Bowles. Every one of those players loves Todd Bowles. They're going to play their heart out for him in this final game. The Jets, they're going to almost upset the Patriots this week. Sam Darnold, Robbie Anderson, Chris Herndon and company, Elijah McGuire with a big week last week. I think you can start all 4 of those players this week and no one else on the Jets. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy about starting Sam Darnold. I hope you can do better
That's a solid point. I guess I really meant the three.
But Elijah
position
McGuire,
players.
Robbie Anderson, and Chris Herndon is really turning into something special. Like going forward, for him to be doing this in a rookie season with a rookie quarterback, I'm going to look his way next season pretty early to take a step forward.
My dynasty team has been saddled with this Rob Gronkowski fellow you've heard of.
Yes.
I expected slightly more production, Mr. 3-touchdown Gronkowski this year. But I was really happy that I had Chris Herndon on the bench, not thinking that, at the beginning of the year he would be much, but at least I have some insurance. Saying all that out loud made me really sad about Rob Gronkowski. Here's an interesting fact. Mike Clay tweeted this out. The Patriots have run the ball on 75% of Sony Michel's snaps. They have thrown it on 77% of James White's snaps. So if I was a defense, I'd be looking at who's in the game and what's going to happen there. Can you start Sony Michel this week after the 18 for 116-1 at home against the Jets? I think the answer has to be yes.
It has to be yes. When you're, regardless of what we think of the line being too extreme, I think the odds are still heavy favorites that the Patriots will be leading and will still win the game. And if you're at home leading, you want that running back. I mean, you look at when you take a large sample size, teams that win a game at home, their running backs perform on a week-to-week basis. So I think Sony Michel is a very good play.
It's interesting to me, as just an aside, that Nick Chubb and Sony Michel, I mean, they were linked, same school, both high draft capital running backs. But the way they played in Georgia, Sony Michel was far more of
explosive.
No, but he would get the receptions.
No,
he would.
He would by comparison to Chubb, but nobody got receptions there. He had,
but statistically, Sony Michel was the guy who was getting more receptions than Nick Chubb, and that has completely reversed.
Yeah, 2015, 26 receptions for Sony.
Yeah,
2016, 22 receptions.
26 in college is a ton for a running back.
Senior year, though, just 9 for Sony Michel. So neither of them predominant in that role at the end. And Nick Chubb, look, next year, it's going to be interesting looking at those two players, seeing how the roster for New England shakes out. I think Sony Michel is, when I think about a second, third round player that could end up as a top tier guy, he's in that category for me. With what the Patriots are going to need to become over the next couple of years, Tom Brady wants to play 2 more years. That's just my take. Now, Nick Chubb, he's been great. They have a great offensive line.
Would you draft?
Oh, Nick Chubb will go ahead of
I would draft
Michel.
Nick Chubb over Sony Michel.
Okay, just making sure.
And that's mostly because of look, if you put Nick Chubb in New England and you put Sony Michel on Cleveland, I would take Sony Michel. It's the backfield being muddied in New England. All right, in Week 12, by the way, New England won this game 27-13.
So are you
maybe
happy
they just subtracted the points there and then made that the new line?
Are you happy to play Tom Brady? He's at home, favored.
Happy?
He's been terrible over the last half of the year almost.
Here's why I'll say okay. It's simply because the Patriots need to win this game. If they win, they end up with the 1 or 2 seed. If they lose, they could be in the wild card round. And it's Week 17, so
I'm okay with it only because it's home and the matchup. I mean, the Jets 27th against quarterbacks on the season, 31st in the last 6 weeks. That's why I'm okay playing Brady. Tom Brady has turned himself into a streamer.
Oh, 100%. He's not right now in 6-point per touchdown leagues. He's not a top 12 quarterback. He's not even a 1. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're getting mixed up with the name.
Yep.
I think if you had told people that there were 3 touchdowns coming from Rob Gronkowski on the year, you might have said, oh, Tom Brady's going to end up a streamer.
Yeah.
He does not have and then you lose Josh Gordon.
Yeah.
He does not have the explosive weapons to make big plays anymore.
You got dink and dunk with James White and Edelman. And then Hogan is your main outside guy who's never been something special as a Patriot. I don't want to play Brady this week, even at home.
Okay. Can we move on?
Are you going to play Gronk?
Oh, yeah, that is the big question.
Oh, that is a legit question. You know, there's definitely.
I mean, we'll have to go names.
I'm playing
Gronk.
Well, let's say Gronk versus
Herndon?
Herndon.
Play Gronk.
Yeah, I would play Gronk there. If we're talking up Herndon, it's weird to talk up Herndon, talk down Gronk, and then choose Gronk, but it makes sense, right? Because we're talking versus expectations, but I would still take Gronk.
All right, but Gronk or the Vance McDonald?
Gronk.
I don't think we're going to say not Gronk.
Okay. And
I think we're going to – Mike, you of all people know. You're at barely any of this ship is above the waterline at this point.
Oh, no.
You've got to be standing on –
Titanic, right? James Cameron is looking for me. I'm at the bottom of the ocean.
James Cameron.
You didn't get in one of the boats?
No,
James
I
Cameron
told you,
is
I was
searching
the captain.
for him.
I went down with the ship.
So he's looking for your bones.
Me and the mermen and the mermaids. I'm looking for Atlantis to save my life right now.
He's in pitch black down
Yes.
there.
Yeah, the anglerfish
Yes.
with their lights and their luminescent bodies. That's all I can see, Jason. I'm gone.
Mike and the anglerfish. That's it. That's all that's left of this season.
My point is, we keep saying Gronk.
Oh, Mike. Week 17. Do what you want.
Week 17 is this. I finally learned my lesson. It's week 17.
Okay. Breaking news. Go back in time. Edit undo on Rob Gronkowski, please.
Gronk has 5 good games at tight end this year, which is terrible for Gronk. But as tight ends go, that's still like David Njoku.
I would argue Chris Herndon has
how many does he have?
3. I mean, 3 double-digit games.
Okay.
So I think you still stick with the at-home Gronk. They're going to need him if they're going to do anything. Watch the Patriots win the Super Bowl. Just watch it happen.
No,
you know it's a 50% shot. Find a way.
Wouldn't surprise me a bit.
The AFC is so
Can't.
weak.
Oh, you're calling him out.
Well, no. I'm just saying
AFC's
that,
so weak?
yes.
No.
I'm just saying that they're weak.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Chargers, Chiefs?
Ravens?
Yeah, they're not weak, my man.
I think they're weak.
Okay.
All right.
Who wins the Super Bowl?
I don't know yet. Let me see who's in the playoffs.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you.
The 6-9 Panthers take on the 13-2 Saints. Well, this is the problem with Week 17. What are your fears starting New Orleans players in this game? Who can you be confident in? Drew Brees yesterday came out, talked about the fact that Teddy Bridgewater would play in this game.
Ruh-roh.
Says there's, quote, no doubt he will be playing in this game.
Taysom Hill's like, what the heck, man?
Well, you did see when there were blowouts this year, it was always Bridgewater coming in to mop up.
Also, if you're in a dynasty league, make sure you've
Bridgewater is not available.
No, he is available in some dynasty leagues. I'm telling you. Just check. If you're in a dynasty, just check. If he's on a roster, great, no harm, no foul. But if he's out there,
Really?
He's
Yes,
not
I
out
think-
there.
No, I'm saying really about like you're interested in him?
100%. He's a starter next year in the NFL, unless he
As in-
resigns with
No
the
way. I'll make that bet right now.
Okay, let's do it.
Waterbed.
Teddy Bridgewater's not going to be a starter next year.
If he resigns with the Saints, obviously he won't be a
And
starter
that quote
next year.
will come back to haunt me if he is. But
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't think so. He's not that good.
I think he's better than a lot of starters.
Name one.
Josh Rosen.
Okay. Well,
Oh, in your face.
that could be true. That's the funny thing. That is the pot-committed part of the NFL where you draft a guy up high, you got to make him your starter when actually the Arizona Cardinals could be better off
With Mike
just signing-
Glennon.
Just signing. Well, no.
If you're the
no.
New York
He's not
Giants-
better with Mike Glennon because Mike Glennon is maybe moderately better than Rosen right now, but he's at his ceiling.
Sure, long
And
term
Rosen
is
has
not
at
what
least
you
the-
want.
And by ceiling, you mean like his head is touching the
10
ceiling.
feet tall.
Well,
Now,
he's a
If
draft.
you're the New York Giants and you could get Teddy Bridgewater for a reasonable price for the next – you signed him to a 3-year contract.
That's the solution.
And you can get away from Eli Manning. Would you make that move?
Yeah,
Yes.
I would at least put him on the roster so you could quickly pivot to him. Eli played well over the second half.
Is Drew Brees someone that you must bench?
You cannot play him. You cannot play him.
The last 4 weeks he
That is
does
another
not,
way of saying that. Yes.
the last 4 weeks he doesn't have a single game with multiple passing touchdowns, and now you worry that he might not play the whole game.
Correct.
I mean, is that do you have to worry for all the starters?
Yes.
Yeah,
We're
I
all
mean, if,
saying-
Essentially,
yes.
can you trust any of them?
No.
Or just say bench them all.
I
No,
feel like
I mean, you can always trust. I mean, I guess you have to play Michael Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas is the one I would be okay playing, but Kamara and Ingram, just based off of the position, I would
Get ready
expect
for
them
Keith
to be.
Kirkwood to lead the team in fantasy points this week.
Well, who's leading the team on?
Mark Ingram can have a big game.
Yeah,
Mark Ingram could have a big
I agree
game.
with that. I think if I was coaching staff, I would try to rest Kamara more than Ingram.
But here's the problem. On the other side of the ball,
That's where I was going to say.
Carolina is talking about, look, their quarterback is Kyle Allen this week. Tyler Heineke is out, and they've already shut down Cam Newton. Christian McCaffrey, they said they're going to give him a rest. I don't know whether that's going to be 3 quarters or the whole game. We're going to find out.
You have to be ready to pivot off of McCaffrey. If it comes out, I don't think any one of us would be surprised if he's just not going to play.
All right, so are you interested in a 26/28-year-old running back, Cameron Artis-Payne, who would project to be the starting running
He
back?
would
for
bring
this
my
team?
roster Cameron Artis-Payne.
Yes, no way, because
All right,
the Saints.
he's not a C.J. Anderson situation.
No, not in this matchup. The Saints' run defense has been
Kyle
just
Allen at quarterback is a
outstanding.
problem for Cameron Artis-Payne's upside.
All
right.
I don't think you can
By
start
the way,
a Panther.
Devin Funchess, 0% chance of returning to the Panthers next season.
Agreed.
I was looking at some early kind of tier jump players for next year, players that I was really excited about the potential, and maybe these are obvious ones, but Kenny Golladay, Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore, those were all names
I
that
thought you were going to say
Curtis
Curtis.
Samuel.
Curtis Samuel is extremely exciting to me because he's going to – people will be on DJ Moore.
Yes.
Like the casual drafter will know who DJ Moore is by the time draft season rolls around. Meanwhile, Curtis Samuel is going to be a
He could be the
8th,
one.
9th round draft selection.
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, but I think DJ Moore might be worth that.
Oh, yeah, he
capital.
could. He could.
All right, the 9-6 Cowboys take on the 5-10 Giants. Giants 6-point favorites. Interesting. Vegas seems to think what I think about this matchup.
Not what Jerry Jones says.
41.5 point over under. Brooks, what is Jerry Jones going to do? You're the resident Cowboy fan. It's kind of important that do you bench your Cowboys or play your Cowboys this week, Brooks?
You should bench him, but he's not.
He should bench them. So should fantasy owners bench them?
Yeah.
If I will say this, if the Cowboys bench them, I highly recommend fantasy owners to do the same. Don't start benched players.
Genius, Jason. Once
the more,
again, the
where's
insight.
my the more you know drop?
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. You're very smart. Now,
Thank you.
generally, you have to know that ahead of time. So, since you are all over it, what are you doing with the Cowboys?
I'm doing the same thing. If I'm the Zeke owner, I'm doing the same thing that I'm doing with Christian McCaffrey. I am getting another option on my roster to pivot to. I'm going to leave them in my starting lineup until prior to game if they say,
Do you just go Rod Smith? Backup for
Sure.
Dallas? I mean,
Yeah.
he's
I would play Rod
against-
Smith in this game.
He's
against the
flashed.
Giants, absolutely.
What about secret agent Cooper Rush? The quarterback for the
okay.
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. I thought you were making a play on somebody, but that's a person's real name.
Yeah, his name is Cooper Rush.
Yeah, it's awesome. He
That's
should be an action star
only-
tomorrow.
That's what
Yeah.
Speed 3 starring Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush is actually he's a CIA secret agent. This is just his cover.
His handle.
Is that he is a backup quarterback. No one would ever suspect Cooper Rush.
So would you start if you knew that was true?
no,
No, of course not.
no.
Okay.
Cooper to Cooper.
What about
connection.
Michael
Thwarting
Gallup
plots. Yes, Cooper Rush. He kills it.
at thwarting plots,
Yes.
which is worth no fantasy points in my league?
Correct.
Any of the wideouts? Anybody else on Dallas? Or are you just hands off? Can we? Is this a? I mean, no Odell in this game.
Evan Engram, man.
Evan
Saquon
Ingram,
Barkley.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
And, if Odell comes back, which he won't, then I would play him as well.
Saquon is 17 fantasy points from breaking the rookie running back fantasy record. He
Not
was
bad.
also one of the highly contested players in the top 10 we put out. I had him at 2, ahead of CMC and those guys. I think he will be in the conversation. I think he'll go anywhere from 1 to 4
Yep.
in a lot of leagues, and some like Melvin Gordon more, some like CMC more, some like Zeke more. It's really how you project Barkley, but you can't really do better than Barkley did as a rookie, considering he's about to break the
Well,
rookie
you can.
running
You
back
can do
record.
17 points better.
I think he'll probably get there.
Next game.
Next game. moving on. Brooks, are we through the matchups we're handling today, or how many do we have?
No
tomorrow?
way, man. Let's keep going. I want to do this one.
You got one more?
Yeah.
All right, the 6-9 Falcons take on the 5-10 Buccaneers. Then we'll get into starts of the week. The Buccaneers, not been a good year. Deshaun Jackson likely to move on. Jameis Winston, I really like him in this game, but Dirk Cutter didn't rule out giving snaps to Ryan Griffin. Once again, Week 17 fun.
That is not the tight end that is currently rostered on the Houston Texans. That is the third-string quarterback that will probably get a few snaps.
So, what's your thoughts on Mike Evans' season thus far? Now, I guess you'd play him in this game, but how do you feel about Evans moving forward?
Evans has impressed me this year. He's had to deal with quarterback changes, and coming in, I did not see him as a strong one. He was always an awesome fantasy player when it was him and no one else there. But with Humphreys, pronounced with an Humphreys, and Godwin and Deshaun Jackson and O.J. Howard, it was like, can Mike Evans really still be a fantasy one? And he has been. He's a must-play every week.
It's his second best season.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. So I'm playing Mike Evans for sure. I actually like this game a lot. You want a Week 17 game that should have fantasy points galore. This is one that I think I'm starting most players on both sides of the ball, including Jameis Winston. I know there's fears with the coach saying, hey, we might play a different guy. That's a legit fear, but I think Jameis Winston plays – look, they still need to – I know they've got plenty of tape, but they still need to figure out what they're doing with Winston. And Winston's got something himself to play for in this game.
He may play himself out of the game by
That's
the
true,
halfway point, which is the problem that I see. However, if I knew he was playing the whole game, you kind of like the matchup. You like Evans. You like Godwin. And Humphreys has been very active.
I like Humphreys a lot this week.
Can you play Tevin Coleman as he limps his way to the end of this season as a free agent?
I want to hear about that injury.
Yeah, the Buccaneers' defense has been
They said he's
going to
play, by
backs.
the way. Dan Quinn said he's going to play.
I'm fine starting Tevin Coleman.
He's playing for that money.
Yeah.
All right.
I would definitely start Matt Ryan and obviously Julio. The question would be whether or not you can take that play on Ridley or Sanu.
It's always a coin flip with those two.
Yeah, it is. And here's what's crazy. So the Buccaneers, if we remember on the season, they're just terrible. But when they fired their defensive coordinator, their secondary improved a lot. The wide receivers and tight ends, they've been a top 10 D over the last 6 weeks. They have not, and they've had some of these matchups where you go, oh man, this team's perfect, and they're playing the Bucs. You got to start these guys, and the pieces haven't been that great. So I'm not all in on Ridley. You might look at the season-long matchup of the Bucs and say Ridley and Sanu are great secondary options. I'm not convinced.
Starts of the week.
Asterisks. I'm just throwing an asterisk on the starts of the week for Week 17.
All right.
Because you always have the you never know factor. But
if they play, we like these guys.
Right. And that's where we'll start at the running back position. I feel confident going with Jamal Williams moving forward here against Detroit at home all by himself, coming off 25-plus fantasy points, depending on your format. We talked about him. He was near the number 1 last week, and he's going to finish strong. He's a very confident, safe start in Week 17.
I'm going to go with C.J. Anderson. Look, if Todd Gurley's out, he becomes an absolute 100% must start. He's going to be what he was last week, which means the guy on a great offense who gets the ball a ton.
Right.
You want that guy. It doesn't matter the talent level, which, again, I think he is much more talented than he appears just in a straight line run. He's a good running back, and he's a good pass protector.
That's why they brought him in.
Yeah, I mean,
they brought him in because they could not trust John. I think they would have been perfectly content giving John Kelly the bulk of the running work, but they couldn't trust him to protect Jared Goff.
So I like C.J. Anderson. If he's not there, I'll throw out obviously Derrick Henry. You can stay in those flames even without the quarterback. That's a obvious must-win situation.
That's big flames. Big flames.
Big flames.
You need a lot of
Vaseline on your body. Is that like
to protect yourself
from the flames?
body.
Yeah,
Does
Mike.
that stop you from burning?
A little bit, yeah.
So
think
if you cover your whole body in Vaseline, you can go. Why don't the firefighters do that?
Well, why? Because they have to cover them.
They have suits
They have
on.
a suit. They're like, this
Right.
Vaseline stuff's messy. Let's just put on the fire retardant suit. Oh, that's a great idea, Jim.
Because it only protects you for a small amount of time.
When I went, when you go to Universal Studios and they do like the like stunt shows, pretty sure they cover themselves in Vaseline before they light themselves on fire. Or maybe it's not Vaseline. Because some gelatinous goo. Do that.
Oh,
Fair enough.
All right.
My running back start of the week, it's Chris Carson, and some might say, hey, Mike, I'm starting Chris Carson already. Yeah, I know.
Keep starting him.
Keep starting. Currently my number one.
Do what works.
Currently my number one running back on the week, taking on Arizona in a game that I consider a must-win.
Are you
for
talking about
Seattle.
the Arizona defense that just gave up 167 to C.J.
Two-man
Anderson?
off the street? Yes.
2-man off street?
Yes, that's what I'm talking
All
about.
right, my wide receiver, I'm going to stay in the same matchup as Jamal Williams. Other side of the ball, my wide receiver is Kenny.
Oh, he's so
G.
smooth.
I love Kenny G. Kenny Golladay against Green Bay. He is the one and only weapon on that offense. And
Almost
it's
put me to sleep. So
simply a
smooth.
volume play. Oh, so smooth.
So smooth.
Kenny G.
My wide receiver, look, I'm looking through different matchups, and I want to pick the games that matter. And no, there's not a game that matters more than the Indianapolis Colts against the Tennessee Titans. It is a playoff game. Whoever wins that game is in the playoffs. Whoever loses that game is out of the playoffs. It is the most, for certain teams, there's games that are really important for half of the team where one team's already in the playoffs and the other team has to win. But this one, this is a game where I'm positive that the teams are going all out, and that's where I want T.Y. Hilton.
Mike?
My wide receiver is pronounced with an Humphreys.
Oh, I wonder who it is. I can't wait.
It's Adam Humphreys.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
The matchup against Atlanta, I think that he's safe for target volume. And then if they're going to get Ryan Griffin in there, I'm going to take the guy who goes with the short underneath routes for the third-string quarterback that's never played in the NFL. So I think of the receivers.
You're picking Humphreys for the guy airmail versus the other players?
Yeah.
Okay.
So more like a side mail.
Sure.
When he's running across.
I will go with Gerald Everett at tight end.
I like the emergence of Mount Everett.
Look, here's the thing. This was much like the Herndon play last week. There are 6 to 8 tight ends that rotate into the top 12 every week. I'm trying to identify the next one to do it. Worked out with Herndon. I'm going to go with Gerald Everett. 5 catches in 2 straight games. Love the talent. Mount Everett, as you said.
Yes.
Look, this could be his peak.
Oh, you did it. Oh, you did it.
Yes, I did.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Week 17. Yeah.
Woo. Mercy, that was good.
Thank you.
Good luck going after that, Jason.
I don't want to.
Starring Pierce Brosnan.
I am sticking for the.
Remember Dante
Oh,
Speaks?
Dante Speaks.
Oh, yes.
You got to get a Brosnan reference in when you can.
I'm staying for the 3rd week in a row with
Right?
the. Yeah. I mean, you have to, and it's getting more and more rare to
Yes, it
to
is.
get those in. It was a run by Fruity. Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram has been great while Odell Beckham has been out. He is a guy that has gotten you to this Week 17 championship. If you were struggling with tight end, stick with him. If you've got him, you've been playing him, you've been happy. No reason to pivot now.
All right,
Once
you're
again.
going with Easy E. Mike.
Once again, New York Giants. How can you not get Evan Ingram and Odell Beckham going at the exact same time? It doesn't seem like it should be difficult.
The answer is
Eli
Manning.
All right, a fair answer. At the tight
I
end,
can throw to one guy. Who is it?
at the tight end position, I'm going to take Pittsburgh Steeler tight end Vance Dance against the Cincinnati Bengals. Delightful matchup.
Vance McDonald once again.
Steelers need it. Let's go. Let's dance.
Breaking news.
Yeah, it's really not that breaking. I mean, it's literally breaking, but
It's not
Jordan Reed is on IR, guys.
What?
Oh,
No way.
them toes are floppy.
It's unfortunate.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It's incredibly unfortunate.
All right, quarterback start of the week to round it out. I'm going with Jameis Winston with an asterisk. I think Jameis Winston is the overt, obvious, best, deep kind of streaming start of the week candidate. He's had 20-plus fantasy points in 5 of 6 games. He's got Atlanta at home. But the Ryan Griffin news has me very hesitant about Winston. So at that point, I'm pivoting to a quarterback who's going to play all the snaps. You pick who it is.
Nice.
I'm going to stay in that same game. Matt Ryan has been surprisingly great this year for fantasy. I mean, he felt like because he had a stretch in the middle of the year where he was down, you don't realize how good he's been. He's in some scoring formats a top 5 quarterback on the season. He has the exact same thing to play for this week that he's played for the past 5 or 6 weeks, which is nothing. And it's a good, it's a good matchup. It's a good over-under. I like Matt Ryan. He's gotten you there. He won the championship on my team last week in Week 16. And so why take away?
You're saying he wants a back-to-back title.
He wants a back-to-back
to win last
title.
week and this week.
Yep, do it.
All right, Mike.
All right, my quarterback start of the week. He's a man. He's always coming up huge, especially this time of the year. Talking about big dog Nick Foles. Look, Philadelphia needs. I'm going all narrative this week.
You don't have to go narrative. You can go 400-plus yards.
Yeah, coming off the best game in Philadelphia passing history.
Big dog Nick.
Look, just absolutely enormous potential and a game on the line for Nick Foles taking on a division mate. I like him. This
Swinging
week.
For the fences. All right,
you want to talk about a guy who's playing all the snaps?
Oh, he's going to pick it up yards at a time.
Yep.
Jason Moore's ironclad, locked and loaded, 100% guaranteed boom boom kicker of the week.
Look, I'm already celebrating my championship from Week 16 with a nice top sirloin. But if you're playing Week 17, go ahead and use the Rams' Greg Sirloin.
Is that truly the proper pronunciation
Nope.
of his name?
No, it is not.
Good.
No, it is not. But
That is the least of our concerns with that segment. I will say this. That was the final Jason Moore's Ironclad, locked and loaded, 100% guaranteed boom boom kicker of the week, sponsored by nobody. Congratulations
not
on
sponsored
another
by me.
Congratulations on another successful year.
Oh, man. I mean, you want to go back and just look at my track record of these boom booms.
You're a man of truth,
Don't do it.
You really did celebrate a Week 17 championship. However, it wasn't a top sirloin yesterday. It was a filet.
Oh, it was a filet.
And a butter cake.
And so much potatoes.
He had Jason had. I went to lunch with him yesterday. We celebrated his title.
Yes.
I was the previous dynasty champion. He is the current.
Passed the mantle.
Look,
Pass the potato.
if-
Did you
I passed
guys
the
do
potato.
like a steak cheers?
We also may or may not have rolled around on the actual ground afterwards.
the potato skins to start were nice.
But then you opened it as well with some potato soup.
Well, I needed the baked potato soup to go with my mashed potatoes,
Right.
and my French fries.
And your French fries. But then you had the butter cake after the sirloin.
And I died yesterday.
Oh man,
Yeah.
sounds like it.
Well, more of a diabetes.
And I diabetes. Always. Fantastic.
We'll be
Good
back
luck.
with the rest of the matchups. Good luck in Week 17. No Thursday Night Football. Draft.com/ballers if you want to play with us. And
See you tomorrow,
we'll
Foot
talk to you
Clan.
tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Footcast today. JoinTheFoot.com.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.